Okay. Um, so I think most people in in Twins fan base probably woke up this morning to hear about the big news. My experience was I basically just passed out, exhausted, tired last night. Randomly woke up like 2 in the morning, and as I often do, went to turn my phone off for the night because I don't like to have it run. Uh, and there was a notification that the Twins had signed Carlos Correa. And I definitely said, "Holy shit!" That was my reaction. Uh, yeah, that's a stunner. It's not stunning that they signed somebody because they had cleared all this money off the books with the Donaldson trade the other day. Um, and there have been a lot of talk about Trevor Story maybe coming here, and they apparently just said, "Hey, screw it, let's go, let's get somebody even better." So they went and got Carlos Correa, who's probably the best free agent available. You know, this organization, or the ownership has been ripped for years, completely justifiably, for their cheapness, for their refusal to actually spend money, invest in the team. Now you can always say, well, they did just clear a bunch of money. You know, I don't know what their overall payroll rank is. That the payroll rank is kind of the thing that always matters to me. I could go into a whole thing about you know you know we've had like two teams win the World Series without being top half of the league in payroll in like 30 years or something like that. So I have no idea where we rank, but they absolutely deserve credit for going forward here, making a big splash move. Um, the deal is a little weird. It's technically a 3-year deal for 105. I think it's 35 each year. It does have opt outs. Like Correa can opt out basically after any season. So I doubt it's going to see 3 years. There's almost no way that sees 3 years unless he just, I suppose, unless the Twins really, you know, really win big and also are willing to keep spending because I'm sure he wants to, you know, to cash in again. Um, and so this is probably it's probably not a 3-year deal. It's probably just a 1-year rental. And if the season goes south, then you flip them for assets at the trade deadline, which isn't a bad thing. Like it's you're not on the hook for like a huge sum of money like you were with Josh Donaldson. Um, and he's a much better player than Donaldson, and much more a position of need because he's there's your starting shortstop for sure. Um, so what does this do for the team? Like, yeah, they're relevant. Like they're right now, even with no more moves, they're certainly in a playoff contention position. I certainly think they should contend for a playoff spot, especially with the extra playoff spot now. I don't see how they're not better than the White Sox yet. They need more pitching. They need a lot more starting pitching. Michael Pineda went off the market last night too. He went to Detroit of all places. Um, so there's been talk that they're in the mix for a couple of these pitchers from Oakland, maybe somebody else. Like they're gonna have they're still gonna have to make one significant starting pitcher addition to even really have hope for making a real run. Like, and I don't know. I would assume they're going to do it. Like, why not at this point? Like, you've made these big splash moves. You traded a first round pick for Sonny Gray. You've brought in these guys from the Yankees. You've done all this. Like, you signed Buxton obviously before even the lockout happened, to a big extension. Now we got the 1-2 from the draft that year. Um, you've done all this. You might as well make one more move to get you know a a really good starting pitcher, maybe a one or at least a two. Um, and obviously, like if a couple of these young pitchers can really ascend quickly, that'll help. But I don't think you want to count on that. But yeah, this is like they deserve credit for this, even if it's just a 1 year rental. At least they're trying something. At least they're really attempting to do something to kind of move the needle in a big way. Um, and you know I think it's probably I wouldn't get too attached to Correa. I don't think he's going to be here for the long haul. I think he's probably just here for a year, but you know, could be an interesting year. So, and as of like 2 weeks ago, it was looking like, yeah, it's great to have baseball back if we get it back, but the Twins are not going to be any good at all. The Twins should at least be a competitive team. They should at least be playing. You know, they should be into September, deep into September, at least playing meaningful games at the very least. And if it doesn't, if the season goes off the rails, hey, you got some guys you can trade and kind of go at it again in the future. But I'll give them credit. Cheap ass pole ads. They're still cheap ass pole ads, but you know, in this one instance, they weren't cheap and actually tried to do some